All right. So under the types of property documents, I'll be talking about receipts of purchase of real estate. Receipts of purchase. Now, receipt. What's the receipt? Just the normal receipt we know, a proof of payment. So in real estate, so the receipt of purchase of real estate is a document that certifies that a buyer of land or structure has been paid for it, which means Mr. Hay, who owns the property, has been paid for the property which he said he wants to sell. That is the meaning of this, that the document that certifies that a buyer of a land or structure, a property, has been paid for it. It simply shows that this property that you said it's yours has been paid for. And then I move for either the buyer makes a deposit or full payment to the seller, who is either the owner, please note this word, very important, who is either the owner or management of the property. A receipt of purchase is given. Simple. Either the person who is buying made an initial deposit or he paid in full. There are cases where somebody wants to buy a property and is being given the opportunity or the grace to pay on installment, or okay, pay a deposit of so percentage, and then spread the balance within 6 months, or within 3 months, or within 2 months, or within a month or a week, depending on the agreement they both had. Remember, we talked about the deed of assignment. Depending on the agreement they both had at the initial at the point of agreement on the property that is being set to be sold. Now, the receipt has to be given for every payment that is being made. There must be a receipt to show that the payment is being made. It's most cases, we have cases like that happen most times in some property being sold by some real estate companies. They allow people to spread their payments over a period of time, and that's honestly, it's a very fantastic opportunity. So, features of receipt of payment. Features of receipt of purchase, rather. Feature of receipt of purchase of real estate. Number one, the full name and address of the party issuing the receipt. The owner of the property who is issuing the receipt. Now, I need to mention this before I go. Now, you will see in the next paragraph that either the buyer makes a deposit of full payment to the seller. Now, note the seller. Then I now said who is either the owner or management of the property, which simply shows that it is not only the owner that can sell the property. Now, the owner can decide to give the people who are managing the property to go ahead and sell for him. So whoever has the right to sell, that is the point we're trying to make, because the person who owns the property, who is selling the property, may not necessarily be the one. I've had a case where I had to buy a property for a client, and that property, we never met the owner of the property. We met the lawyer who has been given the letter of attorney. That letter is a letter that conferred ownership, that conferred, not ownership, now that conferred the right to sell, to take up responsibility on behalf of the owner of the property. So he took up that responsibility, stood in for the owner of the property so as to be able to sell. We saw the letter because it is very important for, we don't say because you're a son or you're whatever, we believe we should do our due diligence. So we saw the letter, which is a power of attorney given to him to say that you can sell on behalf of the owner. All right, so it could be the people managing the property that is selling, or the owner of the property itself. And that is where you remember what we talked about, the role of the realtor. It's part of the due diligence you have to do to ensure that you know that, okay, this particular property is being sold by who, just to get to the, it's part of the due diligence one needs to do when buying into real estate. All right, so I move on to the features of the receipt. Like I said, the full name and the address of the party issuing the receipt. The second is the full name of the party making the payment. Mr. A is buying from Mr. B, so Mr. A address and Mr. B's address must be on the receipt. I mean, the Mr. A's address rather must be on the receipt, while Mr. B, who is buying, the name and the amount is being paid must be on the receipt. Now, the description of the property or building that was sold. Now, you need to give us, we on the receipt, we must have the description. What's on it? Is it a bare land? Is it a structure? Is it a 5-story building? Is it a penthouse? Is it a 5-bedroom duplex? Or is just a land with a small bungalow of 3 bedrooms? You know, the description is located in so. The area where it's being located, describe to us. A 5-bedroom located at number 5 William Street, Lagos. You know, details. So the amount paid and the balance, if any. Remember, I said that it could be on installment. The person may be given the grace to pay a deposit and spread the balance over a period of time. So the amount paid and the balance. The next is date of payment. If, you know, for every receipt must consist the date of payment to show that so date this particular money was made. So my payment was made to so account. You know, there must be a date to the receipt. It helps also in the future for record purpose. Then signature of both parties. Both parties must sign. Yes, they must sign. That makes it a mutual transaction. All right. So we move to the next one, which is survey. Survey plan. Let's move to survey plan.